Hi, I'm Lloyd Rieber, and I'm here again to demonstrate how to build a simple LiveCode project that involves some computer programming. The goal of this demonstration is to introduce people who have never programmed before to coding within LiveCode. By following this video, you should be able to build this project yourself, but I suggest you watch the video at least once all the way through before launching LiveCode and trying it for yourself. Okay, let's start with a short demonstration of the final project. I love to travel, so let's take a trip across the United States from my home in Georgia to San Francisco, one of my favorite cities in the world. Now, we have some choices. We could fly or drive. Well, let's go ahead and fly there first. All right, here we go. Zip, and it says, off we go to San Francisco. Yay, we made it. Well, that was pretty fast. That was good. Yeah, flying is great as it gets us there as fast as possible, but driving will give us a chance to see more of the USA from ground level. So let's drive from Georgia. All right, here we go. Yep, message says let's drive, buckle up, and we're off. And we are meandering around the USA, going across the Rockies there, winding up in San Francisco. Yes, that was a long trip. And if we wanted to all do it again, we could just hit the restart button to restart. Okay, well, let's now build this project ourselves from scratch. The first thing I will do is remove the demonstration project from memory. So I go up to File and choose to close and remove from memory. Really close it? Yes. So we now have nothing in LiveCode. LiveCode is open though, so I'm going to go ahead and choose to make a new stack, new main stack. And there it is, but as you can tell, the default is not nearly big enough. So let's go ahead and resize the stack right away. Let me go ahead and click on the inspector. And that brings up the inspector, and you can see stack is there. Let me go ahead and give the stack a name. Travel the USA, and let's go ahead and now go to size and position, and I'm going to make this particular stack to be a width of 800 and a height of 600. Kind of a standard size, just hitting the tab key as I enter, after I enter the numbers to have LiveCode accept them. All right, good. Now, obviously, an important part of this project are all the graphics. So we need to get some graphics. Now, on my website, I have those three graphics that we saw in the demonstration, the map and the graphic of the plane and the car. So you need to download those or find your own graphics. So I have made a folder on my desktop that has all the graphics ready for me. Let me show that to you. So here's my desktop, and I just have a folder there called Travel USA. If I open that up, you see I have three files inside of it, the airplane, car, and the map. All right, so, and that's important. The way that LiveCode works is you have to import the graphics into your stack, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's go back now to LiveCode. Right, so let's get that map in first. So how do we bring graphics into LiveCode? Well, the idea is you go up to File and come down and choose Import as Control, which is kind of an odd, vague expression, but a image file like these other files are called controls. So this is what I want. Notice, by the way, that if you wanted to bring in audio or video, this would also be the way to do it. So let me go to Image File, and you can see I've already been targeting that folder, but again, if I had to navigate to it, I'd be going to Desktop and then Travel the USA, and there's that map. All right, so I'll just click on the map and choose to open. Now, one bit of advice, I always recommend that you make sure the graphics are the right size before you bring them into LiveCode. It is possible to resize them here, but it's just best to have the graphics the size you want with all the characteristics you want before you start using them. So another good reason to learn another tool like Photoshop or GIMP or Fireworks, one of those. All right, good. So there we have that particular graphic. And if I go into edit mode and click on that graphic, you see that I can inspect the properties for this, and it just brings it in with the name of the graphic itself. All right, good start. Let's go ahead and bring in the plane and the airplane in a very similar way. Go up to File, Import as Control Image File. Let's bring in the airplane. There it is. I'll just bring it over roughly to there. And one more time, Import as Control Image File, the car. Now, as I click on either one of these, you'll see that the property inspector changes also to that object. And you see that the name of the object is the file name, airplane.gif. So I'm going to change the name a little bit just to airplane. It'll be easier for me to remember that. Hit the tab key to accept that. Go to the car and do the same thing. Get rid of the .gif, hit tab to accept it. All right, well, what now? We have some other objects we need to add to our card. If you recall, there was a nice message box up here, a little gray message box. Then, of course, we had two buttons that had me to drive and to fly to San Francisco. Then there was yet another button that showed up here to restart the program. So let's just start with some of these and work our way as we go. So let me start with putting up here a little message box. I'm going to bring in a scrolling field. I always start with scrolling fields. I like scrolling fields, even though this is not going to be scrolling. I'm going to be able to very easily change the scrolling part in just a moment. But yeah, and there we have it. And you can see again that the field is chosen. I see the word field in my property inspector. So I'm going to change the name of the field to message. Hit the tab key. And while I'm here, let me go ahead and turn off that vertical scroll bar. And while we're here too, why don't we go ahead and change the background color of this text field to gray. So let's go up to Basic Properties and come down to Colors and Patterns. And here's where we can have some fun with colors. So under Fill, or beside Fill, over here in this second box, I click on that. And I like using the crayon picker. I'm just going to choose this shade of gray right here. And click OK. Yeah, that just gives it just a little bit of distinction on this white background. All right, great. Now we haven't done any saving yet, so why don't we do it? Go ahead and save this project. Go up to File, choose Save As, and I am going to go ahead and save it to that folder that I made on the desktop where I have my graphics. And LiveCode assumes you would like to have the name of the file match the name of the stack. And I do, so click Save. Okay, well let's now start to build some scripts that are going to have the graphics move from Georgia on the map to San Francisco. So let me go ahead and bring in a button. Go over here to the tool palette, and I'm just going to bring a button, click, hold, and drag it in. Make it a little bit bigger. And go to my property inspector, go to Basic Properties, and I'm going to title this Fly to San Francisco. Hit the tab key. And there we have a nice button. So yeah, we want to be able now to put in some scripts that are going to make that plane go from where it is to San Francisco. Now, I am kind of interested where that plane is, because when I restart this, I want the plane to go back exactly to the same location. So how can we figure out where that plane is right now on the location of the screen? Well, if I just click on the plane and go from Basic Properties down to Size and Position, you will see that its current position is, its location is over 599, so that's 599, down 367. So again, I can tweak this a little bit. I can just enter the number. So maybe I'll just put it put in some numbers that are a little bit easier for me to remember. So 560 and 360. So you might want to write those numbers down so that you have exactly where you want that plane to go. And while we're at it, let's go to the car and do the same thing. You see the image of the car, and the location here is 562. Well, we might as well line it up, on the vertical. So I'll go ahead and put that to 560. And I do want it to, not overlap too much with the plane. So let's just go to 400 to go down. That looks pretty good. So for the car, I'm going to make a note that its location is 560, 400. All right, we'll need that later. So again, we're going to work on this, moving this plane to San Francisco. So all right, let's see where or how we're going to do this. So let's go to the button, and we're going to open up the script window for this button. So the easiest way is just to click on the button, then click the code button up here. And I'll go ahead and resize this so it all fits in the video window. I'll move my inspector a little bit off to the side. So yeah, so when I press the button is let go. That's the mouse up. We want that plane to fly. So LiveCode starts us off by putting in a little bit of script for us. The on mouse up and the end mouse up. So that's called the handler or the trigger. So this script that we're about to write will only be executed when this particular button is let go. Press down and then let up. So what is the script? Well, I'm going to type some script very, very quickly, and then we will look at it and try to understand what it is doing. And this script can be found on my website. You can just copy and paste it from there, just like I am about to do. Ooh, there it is. Boy, I can really type fast. Okay, so we have some lines of script here that, again, either you have to type it yourself or you can copy and paste it. But this is really just a nice little chunk of script that I think will be very, very easy to understand. So the first one is that set the location of the image airplane. Well, to 555, 371. That was the script that I had on my website, but we actually wrote down that it should be 560 and then comma 360. So you have this XY coordinate separated by a comma. So the horizontal or the X is over 560, and then the 360 is how far down. Now this one's kind of interesting. It says set the angle of image airplane to 90. And what this is, you may have noticed that the plane, if I just show it down here, is pointing upward. Well, we actually want it to point to the left. And you could have a lot of interesting manipulations of graphics. And LiveCode has quite a few. And this is an interesting one. So this is going to set the angle of that image airplane. Now, of course, you have to make sure that you did call that image airplane. Remember, I took off the .gif, so it's very important that these names match up. All right, so that's going to turn that sideways. The next one is to put this little message, off we go to San Francisco, into field message. So you might recall, again, that we called that field message, and this just does what it says. It's going to put that message into the message field. And then it's going to move the image airplane in 3 seconds to this location, 82,281. Well, that is the location, I think, of San Francisco, at least when I was trying out this project before. So we may have to tweak that. So we'll see how close we get with that. And then after it gets there, again, 3 seconds will go by. We can set any time we want here. If it's too slow or too fast, you can change that. Then we'll put the message, yay, we made it into the field message. We'll just wait 2 seconds, let the person be able to see all that. Then we're going to empty out what's in the message, put empty into field message, and that will then just clear out the message. So great, so I put that in. Let's go ahead and hit the apply button. And yes, we have a green light. That means that the code is valid. So let me go ahead and move this window out of the way. I'll just put it down here for now. Let's go into run mode. And let's go and fly to San Francisco. Here we go. Hey, pretty good. Now it said, yay, we made it, and off we go and all that. Wasn't very obvious up here, so I might want to change the text for that. And it looks like the plane isn't quite centered over San Francisco. So I'm going to go into edit mode, get the plane, just move it where I think would be the best spot. I think right about there. And now if I take a look at my inspector for the airplane, again, if you don't have the inspector open, if I close it, whatever object is selected, hit the inspector. There you see it. And so what is our position now? Well, location is 87, 267. Let me see what 85 looks like. That looks pretty good. And 265. So 85, 265 I think would be better. So let's go now. I'll just bring that window back into play. And it's 85, 265. So I can just make that change, 85 to 65. Hit the apply button. And notice, you see, that when I press the button, no matter where the plane is on the screen, it sets the location of it back to that starting point. So let's see if this actually works now. Move that out of the way and click Fly to San Francisco. All right, great. Now let me work on that message box a little bit here. Let me go and click on, back into edit mode, click the message field, and now what I'll do is I will go into the property inspector for that message field, go to text formatting. And yeah, I definitely want it centered. I want it much bigger. Let's go ahead and see what 24 looks like. And I'll just choose Arial for the font. All right, good. So let's go back into run mode and let's fly to San Francisco again. Yeah, off we go to San Francisco. Yay, we made it. Centered, looks a little better. All right, excellent. So let's now begin to work on the button for the car. Well, we haven't saved in a while, so let's go ahead and go up to File and choose Save. All right, well, again, remember that the car does not go in a straight line. It went on a very meandering path. So how do we do that? Well, that actually is the first step, and it's kind of fun. We're going to go over here to our graphics tools that we have here, and there's a variety of types. We have both paint type graphics and we have vector type graphics. And so what we're going to do is choose a vector graphic called freehand. It allows me to draw a line freehand. So let me go ahead and choose that. And what I'm going to do is kind of click on the center of the car, and I'm going to hold down the mouse button as I draw a path. I'm going to go down into Texas, meander up here and around, a little bit of Colorado, moving up, down through Idaho, and working my way over to San Francisco. Okay, so now let me go back in edit mode and click on that, and you see it is a graphic called curve. Now I'm going to go up to basic properties and change that name from curve, the default name curve, to car route. Hitting the tab key to go on. Now we don't really want that image, that graphic, to show up there, and so very soon we're going to change it to invisible. But for right now, let's just leave it there. Okay, so now we need a button that is going to make the car follow that route to San Francisco. So let's go ahead and, in fact, let's just take this San Francisco button. Since I already have it there and I like that size, I will go ahead and choose to copy that, and I will choose to paste that. I'll just drag it over, and I'm going to just change the name a little bit to Drive to San Francisco. Just a little shortcut here. And again, I want to go and put in some unique code. So the button is selected. If I hit the code button, it will bring that up into my window. And so this is, of course, the code for the plane. So I'm going to go back to my website and copy and paste some other code here for the drive to San Francisco, and I suggest you copy and paste it for my website as well. All right, let me go get it. And there it is. Okay, so same thing. You can either copy and paste it in, or you can type it in. So yeah, so I think again, you'll be able to follow this very, very easily. And the first line, again, after the on mouse up, again, where there's an on, there must be an end. So they're like bookends. So on mouse up, end mouse up. So when this button is pressed, that will be the trigger for this code. So it starts off in a very similar way as to the airplane. Set the location of the image car to, well, this was what was in what I copied and pasted, but we know that the car is really going to be at 560, 400 based on how I put everything together. And then it's okay, we'll put let's drive to San Francisco into the field message, wait 2 seconds, put buckle up, you always got to buckle up, safety first. Wait another second. So the timing is kind of important, like a little movie here that we're putting together. And now you can see here is the line right there. And I'm going to make it take 10 seconds, but it says move the image car to the points of graphic car route. So it's again very important that you named it car route. What's important is that the two match, the actual name and what is the name in the script here. And that will take 10 seconds, and then it will be followed by all of this. I do not yet have a restart button, so I'm just going to go ahead and comment that out right now, because it'll just trigger an error. We don't have that yet, but that's what we want to have show up when this one is over. So let me hit the apply button. Green, fantastic. It means I have valid code. Let's see if it works. Put this out of the way here. Go to run mode, and let's go ahead and drive to San Francisco. See the message, buckle up, and you can see it is now following that path. Wow, that was a long trip. All right, fantastic. So what do we need to do? I think the next step is pretty obvious. We do not want to have this graphic show up, so I'm just going to go into edit mode. I'm going to click on it, and then in the property inspector under basic properties, I'm going to click to turn off the visibility. All right, so now again, if I just try this again and do drive to San Francisco, you will see that even though the graphic is invisible to us, the car knows where it is, and it follows it along the path until it gets there. All right, fantastic. Let's do a quick save here, and we'll finish up what we need to do. Okay, so what's next? Well, apparently I need a button called restart. So let's go ahead and build that button, at least start building it. Let me bring a button in up here, and I'll go ahead and call that restart. And that was a much bigger button, so let me make it bigger. It was also yellow, it really stood out. So great, let's make it yellow. Let's go to its colors and patterns. Let's choose a fill, and let's choose a nice lemon. And let's make that text a lot bigger too. Let's go to text formatting, and let's see how 24 looks. And again, I will choose Arial. I'm not too bold with my fonts, not too adventuresome. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so we have the button, but we'll put in the code for it in just a second, because obviously when we hit restart, we want everything to restart. We want the plane and the car to go back to its position, and just kind of everything to be at the very beginning. So this is an interesting decision point, because you might be saying, well, we could put all that code we need into the restart button. So when we press it, all those good things will happen. But if you think about it, when we first launched this project, when the very first time somebody double clicks on the project and it opens up. Well, we want everything to start at the very beginning. We don't want the car and the plane to be over here on the left-hand side. So we want to make sure at the very, very beginning, you might say when the card is opened, we want everything to be at their starting locations. And that, I think, is the key or the clue here, that we want the code about the starting positions to be when the card first opens. Because we can put code anywhere we want. We can add scripts or code to any object in LiveCode, and a card is just another object. A stack is an object, so we can add code to any of those objects. So I'm going to go up to Object and come down to Card Script. And let me bring in the script window here. Got to move your windows around. So just a blank text editor, and so it's going to be, the trigger is going to be on open card, one word. When I press return, LiveCode says, yeah, when we have an on, we need an end. I'll go ahead and help you out with that. So what is the code that we need? Well, again, I'm going to go ahead and do a copy paste from my website, and then we'll take a look and understand what the code is. So let me go and copy and paste that code. And there it is. Again, I got this from the website, so we know that the car and the plane are not exactly where they need to be. According to what I wrote down, again, the plane should be at 560, 360, and the car needs to be at 560, 400. So I got part of it right. So yeah, so when this card opens, we're going to hide the button restart. That makes sense. We're going to set the location of the image card to the 2 XY coordinates, again with a comma in between. The same thing for the car and the airplane. And then we're going to put this message, put visit the USA into the fill message. And that'll be up there when the program opens. All right, good. And let me go ahead and apply that. Excellent. So now what we want to do is work on that restart button. So let's go back to the restart button. And if you think about it, what I want the restart button to do is basically all of that. I want the open card script to happen. So you might say, well, we can just copy and paste that code in there. Well, there's even a more elegant, simpler solution. I'm going to go ahead, and I got the button chosen here. So I'll click the code button. So I go into the code of the restart. Well, what I want to have happen when I press that button is really just perform an open card script. Just do the open card script, and that's all there is to it. So let's hit apply, and let's see if this is going to work. So let me go ahead and move this out of the way. Go and click the run button, and I will click restart. Whoa, look at that. The button has disappeared, and we have our car and plane back at their locations. Now there's one more thing we need to do. You might remember what it is. I had in the script for the drive to San Francisco, let me go ahead and hit the code button and bring that up. Yeah, you might remember we had commented out the show button restart. Well, I now need that to happen. So we, you hide it or you show it. And this is a really cool way to make things visible or invisible kind of on the fly here as you're doing your scripts. Let me apply that. All right, good. So let's see what happens now. Go into run mode, and I will drive to San Francisco. You see our messages, and we're off. There we go, crossing the Missouri, and we wind up in San Francisco. Yeah, long trip. And there's the restart button. In the script for the drive to San Francisco, we say show the restart button, but in the script for the open card, we have the hide button. Hide that button. Fantastic. Well, let's go now and choose to save our stack. Now let me just show you one more little tip that we have some invisible objects here that I know that they're there. You probably remember that they're there, but maybe in a week or so you come back to this project and you're not so sure. So under View, there is the choice to show invisible objects. And that is just simply a programmer's or developer's tool that LiveCode makes available to you. So if you want to kind of know what's on the screen that you perhaps have chosen to make visible or invisible at certain points, and you want everything to show up, that's really handy. So just use that as you need to, as a little, as a way to support or help what you're trying to do. All right, let me go up to View and not show the invisible objects. And we'll do one more save. Well, that's all there is to it. Now it's your turn. Download your free version of LiveCode Community Edition and try building this little project for yourself. Look for other first project examples and tutorials on my website. Happy coding!